Welcome back to Business Morning. We're looking or tracking the mobile number portability launched 22 days ago by the Nigerian Communications Commission. It's a situation where subscribers can move from one network to another while retaining their original numbers. Now, of course, there's been quite a number of reactions, people talking about their experience, the 90-day rule. We've seen the commercial frenzy, telecoms companies trying to woo investors or subscribers, rather trying to upgrading, while also trying to woo them and, of course, trying to keep the existing customers that they have. Well, I'm being joined now by the Director of Public Affairs at the NCC, Mr. Tony Ojoba. Thank you so much, Tony, for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me this morning.
First things first, have you ported?
No, I've not ported.
Oh, you're happy with your telecom subscriber?
Well, I'm still observing.
Is that because you're with the NCC or?
No, really. I'm a telecom consumer as well, just like you. So if I'm not happy with my network, then I can port.
Then you can port.
I'm thinking about it, actually. I could port someday. Yes.
Well, okay, let's go right. It's been 22 days since, you launched it, the NCC launched this new scheme, as it were, and we've seen a lot of reactions. There were, concerns at first, the available infrastructure. We know how some of these telecoms companies still struggle with, the issue of infrastructure, yes. But many of them obviously had to upgrade in preparation for this to keep their existing customers and, of course, try to woo some more of them. So tell us about, as the process has been going along, those challenges that you have encountered and how you've been able to deal with them.
Well, thank you very much, Esther. Well, the project has been going on well. After the launch on the 22nd of April, from the preliminary reports we got, within 48 hours, about 4,000 people ported from a particular network. So that's an indication that people actually have been waiting to be able to exercise their power of choice. And that's exactly what has happened. Nonetheless, we have also received some complaints from some individuals who indicated that they had tried to port. There have been delays here and there. But of course, at the launch date, my CEO, Dr. Jua, of course, indicated that there could be initial glitches, because, this is new. And could be maybe from people not really being familiar with the process. But of course, these are being grappled with by the networks. But of course, there are also reasons why a porting request could be denied. For instance, if there is a debt on that particular line, or maybe the SIM is not registered, or maybe there are issues, porting requests could be denied. Otherwise, within 48 hours of a port request, is supposed to have been attended to by the network.
Quickly remind us what the process, right? For, how does one start?
Okay. Well, the process is actually simple. You would, of course, have identified a recipient operator. That is to say, where you are porting to. Yes. B. Now, the network B you're porting to, for instance, from A, then you go to the customer service center, or a dealer, or an agent, because I believe they have agents here and there. And then, of course, there you'll be given a port request form to fill. Now, after you have completed that, of course, you have gone with a photo ID, something that has a picture that can identify that you're the owner of that particular number, and then you complete the form. Now, you'll be given a SIM card of the recipient operator that you're porting to. Now, that SIM card, you have to hold it with you. Within 48 hours, you are going to get a text, an SMS from the clearinghouse advising you that your porting request has been completed. Now, within an hour of that message, you would remove the old SIM, put the new SIM card, and then you are connected. I'm looking at this process. Is there any way, because I'm just trying to imagine, because it means that individuals would have to leave either their offices, and I assume perhaps this will be done more on the weekdays than the weekends, even though I know many of them do have their customer contact centers open on the weekends. Well, but leaving the office, I'm just imagining those centers filled up, a bunch of people trying to fill forms, collecting SIM cards. Is there a way that process can be made? Well, we have actually, some people have suggested that it could be done online. But you see, the issue of identification is very, very important. we're just coming from the background of even SIM registration, where we still have some people that have not registered. So we really need to know who is porting from where, from what network to another network. So that's why that kind of identification is important, because of issues of fraud and criminalities here and there. So it is important in the light of some of the challenges we're having in our own environment, that we put in place certain measures that at least will make sure that the process, is not compromised, and of course that people are safe, with their numbers.
I imagine that the NCC must have spent a lot of money on awareness, campaigns to educate the general public. But
yeah, that's why I'm here.
Well, apart from this, because many people, because I still run into people who say, Esther, do you know how to port?
Yeah.
Because they know I'm in the media, so they believe I know, what to do. So they keep asking, and I ask them, don't you watch TV? Don't you see? Are there no commercials anywhere? Are there no, radio jingles that you listen to? And they say, well, I've not really heard anything.
We have jingles running on the radio, and we have continued to sensitize people. Tomorrow I'll be on a radio station here in Lagos, also talking on this matter. Now, you see, people would want to do things from their homes, from the comfort of homes. But you see, our peculiar challenges in Nigeria also requires that we're able to address some of these challenges in a way that people's identity are not compromised. So it is simple. I mean, even if you have to hook onto a particular network, you still have to go to a customer service center, for instance, to register your SIM card. All right? And even when you travel outside of this country, you go to other countries, you still have to register. If you are, for instance, a visitor to a particular country, now you are expected to come with your international passport, where they take some of the details and register before you get a SIM. So it's usually processes have to be in place. And, don't forget that we don't have a social security system. We don't have a centralized database where at the push of a button you have information on an individual. No, we don't have. As a matter of fact, this is the first time we're having, a critical mass of data, because, this doesn't take account of age. As long as you're a subscriber, you have a telephone, you qualify to register. Unlike maybe for elections where they say you have to be 18 and all of that. So this is actually the first time we are having such a huge volume of data capturing, various demographics. So it's something that we're happy about, because we're also even collaborating with NCC, the identity management. Yeah, so they are networked to our central database for SIMs that have been registered.
So the NCC is not overwhelmed in any way?
No, we're not. Absolutely not. No, we're not. No, absolutely not. We're not overwhelmed at all. Now, so really, these are just initial glitches, but we know that we're going to get over that. And it's just for people to just go through the process, because it is also in the interest of users of telecommunication services that this does happen, because you have issues of identity theft. You have people who currently are using numbers that are not registered in their names. Their pictures are not captured. How? They have gone to the streets and bought SIM cards that are pre-activated. And that's what they are using. And so if such an individual, for instance, now wants to port, and he gets to the place, now they would discover that the photograph is different from what they have in the database. So, it's all about ensuring that the credibility of the system is not compromised in any way at all. That's the reason why this has to happen. And we ask people to bear with us, because, it's just to protect people's identity, and also not to compromise the credibility of the process. But
would you, the NCC on this part, still look at other ways, while, we still go through this process as it is right now?
Oh, yes, of course.
To ensure that,
it is a learning curve, really. We are getting records, getting reports from the clearinghouse. And then, of course, complaints also. We're analyzing the complaints we are getting. And based on the kind of report we get, the Commission will certainly take the best decision in the circumstance.
Are you tracking the numbers? Do you know exactly how many people are porting from the networks at what
Well, the clearinghouse is to be given the Commission monthly reports. Most likely by the end of this month, we're going to get a report from the clearinghouse on the status of porting requests on all the networks.
Now, when subscribers go to the other telecoms providers to port, to move over to them, you said there's a form that they fill. Do they also have to state the reasons why they're porting? Because I assume that might be valuable information for the NCC. If they're porting, you probably want to know why they're porting away from that particular network, and perhaps you can compile all of that and see if there's a pattern or a trend in terms of where this complaint comes from.
Well, basically there are two reasons why people port. I mean, but two major reasons. One is tariff. The second one is quality of service. Anyone that is porting as we speak now will either be issue of tariff plan on the current network or quality of service. These two are always the major reasons why people port. But of course, a third reason could be because of the kind of service offerings on a particular network. Maybe they have some kind of, value-added services that are providing, which a particular customer would want to hook onto. So those are the reasons why people would usually want to port. And from some of the initial preliminary reports we're getting, most people who have ported has been on the issue of quality of service.
Not specific, just general, the fact that, perhaps during a call, it just, it goes off.
But you see, there is an interesting phenomenon that is developing. We are beginning to see networks, reaching out to their customers, asking if they were satisfied with the services that they're getting on the network. It never used to happen.
Or randomly just...
Yes. On flight coming this morning from Abuja, I had someone sitting with me in the plane, and he said he's been having issues for 2 weeks with a particular network on his internet package. And it's been up and down. And he sent them a mail and said, look, I am moving. I'm porting to another network. And he said, within 20 minutes of that, the issue was resolved. So it's an indication of the kind of competition, really, that is already in the marketplace. And don't forget that we have major objectives that MNP is supposed to achieve. And they're in this fold. And I just want to give it to you quickly. One is that the regulator wants competition to be deepened. MNP deepens competition in any environment where it is implemented. Secondly, it improves the quality of service. Why does it improve the quality of service? Because no network will want their subscribers to leave them to other networks. So what they now have to do is to make the necessary investments and then also optimize their networks in such a way that the quality service that is quality service given to the subscribers. The third one is that it engenders innovation and creativity on the part of the networks. They now begin to look at innovative ways to serve their customers. So it brings about innovation on the networks.
And you've seen that happen in the last 2 days.
Oh yes, you also saw it. There's this advert that has been very controversial.
Oh, yes. Don't get me started with this commercial.
That was a major innovation.
Yes.
And then also, in terms of value for money, billing integrity, because networks now are going to be careful the kind of bills that they send to the customers. Because if I feel that I'm shortchanged and I'm not getting the right billing for the calls I make, that would be an incentive for me to move to another network. So these are the kind of things that it brings, to the table, wherever it is introduced.
Interesting. Tony, we'll need to take a break. We'll come back to talk more about the issues, focus more on the telecoms providers themselves and some other issues arising from this mobile number possibility that's been on for about 22 days now. I've been talking to the Director of Public Affairs at the NCC, Mr. Tony Ojaba. We'll be right back after this time out. Again.